Hi, I'm Landscaper. Welcome to the Wannabe Composer series. Part 9 of Simma, still cracking on. Really enjoyed the last one. Part 8, if you haven't seen it yet, it was a little bit different to how I kind of normally go about it. Had a really nice kind of vision and idea, and I think hopefully I managed to pull that out of the samples that I'm nicking from Splice. Just went back into Splice to have a little listen to see if I get some inspiration, and I found this synth, which I really like. And I thought, what a nice little 3-chord chill, you know. So I thought, yeah, that'll be a real nice juxtaposition to the last one, which was kind of a bit eerie, a little bit sort of storytelly rather than just a standard nice kind of house track. I could already hear what sort of beat I think I might want to use. Do a little bit of work on this synth, then I'm going to go search for some beats. Brought in 2 different little break beats. First one's from Kinetic, second one is from Vandal. Give you a little sample of these. Just drop the Kinetic one, which I think is going to work nicely at the top. Nice little old school shuffle. And then the Vandal one I think is going to carry the weight. So I'm going to want to EQ these, pull the bass out of the one I want, drop the bass from the one I don't. And what I've also done over here is I have phased these two, then I'm going to work the EQs for both of them to try and get them to sit nice and comfy together. I might bring them in one at a time because I think that initial kind of high breakbeat will probably sound nicer as an intro. So just drop the EQ on it. The AI EQ obviously is hearing the fact that there's no bottom end in this, but it doesn't know I don't want it. So I'm just going to pull that out. And actually I'm going to cut it right down. What I'm thinking now is that I might want to rewrite this in, you know. So I'll do a couple of duplicates of this, just because it's probably the kind of track that's just going to have a bit of a roll. We will leave that muted. In fact, I'll just take it out from those front 4. And over these first 4, I'm just going to rewrite a little EQ in. If I push the right buttons, I will. And then we'll do it starting from up here, and we're going to run it down. That's great. So now whatever other EQs I do to this kind of top end should stay fixed and fastened, and the one that I've just written will work its way down. At the moment they're working quite nice with the synth, so I don't need to go too far just now until I know what other sort of stuff I'm going to start bringing in. So I'm not going to go mad, but just a little bit over the top. So the main body, for my kick sitting around 55, so I will go back to the initial synth, put one little notch in, even though I haven't actually EQ'd this yet. I'll go one little notch in at 55. Quite tight. I don't think there's tons going on in that low end. Make sure it gives that kick a little bit of room, or enough room. I'm going to let the AI do its thing. I'm going to do my little usual numbers at 120 and at 300. Drop those out in fairly tight notches. I'm going to do this without that playing because I really want to hear that I don't crush too much of that kick. Tiny little dip here I think as well near the 600. When I do my drum bus, I'm going to use like Silver Bullet, which is probably going to pick up some of those higher frequencies and push them through. I noticed on the last track after I listened back to it, like the mix way too much at the top, which I will go and revisit at some point, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm unlikely to go and look for too much more drums, certainly for now, so I think I might do my bus. So highlight both those 2 drum tracks, add track, group track to selected tracks. Nice and original, we call them drum bus 9. I'm going to leave that synth off just for now while I do this. And really what I want is the initial gains to not be going into the yellow too far, which they both are. So I'm going to drop the initial gain so it sits just below or on the yellow, which does make it quite quiet, but I'm going to bring it up with a load of stuff I'm putting in here. So initially I'm going to put an EQ over the top. I'm going to just run a universal one. And I guess what it will have done, the AI will have tried to compensate for the 2 notches that I've put in. And I'm actually going to make them quite small and just draw them back in. I'm going to drop a little bit of Soothe 2 on there. I tend to use a little preset that just takes some of the edge off of the low mids, where the mud sits. Then bring in our silver bullet. And drop the gain a little bit to keep this at around 10. And that's crushing the top a little too much. But it's pulling the kick out really nicely. Then I've got my new plugin here, which is the Transient Shaper, Stab ST4B. I'm going to try and pick up some of the transients from the low end and probably some of the mid. So just to show you, I'm going to ramp it all the way up. There we go, popping a real thump in there. Actually 3.1 was pretty good. And now a little edge on the top. I'm going to drop some of that low mid, which should leave a nice amount of space for synths and stuff like that. Pretty good. Now we'll go on to 2 compressors. I tend to start with the Steinberg Vintage compressor. And I want to make sure that my output certainly not up as far as 6, so this is just underneath, which is good. And then I'm going to put the Sonable compressor over the top of that. So many compressors, so little time. Don't know why I do it. I'm going to ease that off. It doesn't feel over crushed. It's just taking a bit of that edge off, and this is now sounding really kind of like a crunchy, nice old school sample. Let's just bring that synth back in, see how it sits. So we can now hear the drums are slightly too loud for the synth, and the synth is roughly at the level I want it to be. I'm going to take the drums all the way out and I'm going to fade them up until I think they're sitting nicely. This is such a nice synth, I really want that to carry a lot of weight through the track. Let's take another little look at the EQ for the synth, because I think now that I've got the drums comfy where I want them, I want to make sure none of the frequencies from the synth are kind of interfering too much with the drums. I have a tiny notch around 300. Take out some of that mud, but there's obviously there's bits playing in there, so I don't want to remove much of it. Do a little high pass because there's bound to be a bass coming in later. That synth is gorgeous though, isn't it? What a great synth. Right, that's my basis. Let's move on. Okay, so a little bit of mic issue. I've had to plug it in. It's just run out of juice. Can't be trusted, can I? Brought with these vocals. Absolutely love them. They're called Vintage Vibes 4 vocals. Really, really nice flavour to them. I think they're going to work really nicely with this track. What I've stuck on already is a little Nectar, a little Silver Bullet, a little bit of Soothe 2, and now I'm just going to work the EQ. I might go back and have another little look at a Nectar to see if I can get some warmth in there. I'm liking where it is so far, but I know when you feel like there's something just missing. I'm not quite sure what it is. I think I might move on because my brain's not figuring it out fast enough for my liking to keep my kind of flow state rolling. But you know, I've got these 4 sections and I'm happy with those so far. I'm going to do my classic and go back, have a little listen from the beginning, see what I feel could come in next and make this track a little bit broader. So I don't want that to come in straight away, that's for sure. I'm going to double this up, I'm going to move all of these over here, and I'm going to do some kind of like chops on some, maybe on a reverb channel, with just some hints of it. I'm going to keep the reverb channel inside the bus for now. Maybe I'll do my cuts first. I might have that last bit there, that last little hint there on this reverb track. Just need to make sure my gain is the same height on the reverb channel so it doesn't blow my ears off. We'll go to usual old chestnut. Good old Simma. Oh, stop that. No, that's way too much. Okay, so what I can hear now is another one for the chops. Whack it inside the bus again. And I think for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do tiny, tiny, tiny cuts that are hopefully going to provide some kind of like air. So you'll see what I mean in a second. I'll run this off with a whole lot of that. I'm going to reverse every other one. Am I though? Maybe. Then I'm just going to listen to these in situ on their own to make sure that they're not popping. Ooh, forgot to take the volume down. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try it back the other way. They are too small. I have made my cuts too small. Let's take it all out. Alright, let's give it a quarter cut, see if that's enough. And then I am going to try and reverse those 2 and just see what happens here. And we're going to want these super quiet, but I might try them on the reverb track, see what it's like. I feel like the volume transitions too much, so let's cut these in half again. I think I'm just going to want the second halves, you know. Okay, I'm going to do my trick of zooming in to try and get rid of the little click and pop. Zoom right in, put it on F, so now I'm in the right place. Highlight all of those, keep my loop parameters in there, a little bit off each side, just a smidge. Okay, maybe a tiny bit more. If I push F, that should take the follow off, which means I can work on this without, so I can hear it changing. Okay, so we're starting to get somewhere. A bit smoother. I'm going to stick something on, I think I'm going to put a U-jam on here, good old Fin Micro, and I'd like the big hair setting. Okay, and again we'll check the volume now with everything else. Okay, yeah, I'm liking that. So I'm going to copy that whole chunk across, and I probably want to break up with some other little bits, some other little cuts. So maybe I'm going to drop that sits on there. We'll try that. I like that. We're going to take the volume down for those. Let's get a diddy cut from the very opening and we'll drop that in on those. Copy it across, see what happens. Take the volume right down on those. Nice. So when that beat comes in, I don't want any of those. Although I'm now thinking, do I? I think I may do the old stretch and reverse, because I love a stretch and reverse. It's such a simple little technique. Stretch it, time stretch it, which does have that kind of digitalized effect. And then reverse it, fade it right in. Let's just see. Okay, I think that's going to flow, isn't it? That's going to work quite nicely leading in before we get to the vocal section. I may take a little sample of that second one as well to try and do something similar. I can drop that one now. Let's take this one so we can make some cuts out of it. I'm inclined to bring that back. What could I do with this? Go to the second part. Ooh, buttons were pushed. Mistakes were made. This is probably going to be too loud again, so I may might even create another duplicate track. Duplicate track of that one, so I can put them on there and make that even quieter. Yeah, I like that. Okay. An end of some description, I think we could do with. So I think that's making a really nice atmosphere that can sit behind the track. We'll copy that across. So I put all of these in a little subgroup, bounce them all down. Oh, I could. I'm going to do that. Bounce all these little chops down to one audio. So I've got it to almost make my own cuts. So we're going to render this in place. These three. Edit, render in place, render with current settings. I didn't want to do that. Abort. Can't be trusted. Bounce selection. That's what I wanted. I want to replace. And I want all these three merged. Now I'm going to render them in place. And I'm going to leave the originals muted. I'm going to take these three, that one, and that one, and move them down here. They won't have these effects on anymore, which means I can suspend those for now. And now these three, I can now, because they've had the bus effects applied to them already, I can now stick them in their own bus. We call it Vox Chops, and then we can mess about with that. So if we put a loop back on, I'm going to bring in my usual filter now, stick it at 4, because I may fade that out. Let's say we're going to keep that group at least, and we're going to go to the beginning, and we're going to read right in our phase. I think that works quite nicely. I might tinker about with it a little bit, but for now, that's pretty cool. I'm going to move that whole section, not the whole section, that section. Oh, and you've got to take my automation. Take that whole section to there, and then we're going to duplicate that one there. And what I plan to do is bring in a few more cuts, but just on their standard tracks themselves. So bit of me really wants to get some guitar in, actually, you know, acoustic guitar. What kind of key will we in? It's not a traditional key, you understand? Senegal Afrobeat, I mean, come on, that sounded fantastic. I don't know if it's going to work. There goes nothing. Quite disappointed it didn't really work. Anyway, sadly, no. Oh, it's such a nice guitar though. You know what? It's not fired. It's just going to get saved for later. I've got this guitar in, which I think I can nick bits from. There's a bit of me almost doesn't want to time stretch it, because I feel like those cuts might work. I think what I want is one of them at regular time, one of them at half time, and then I'm going to cut and intersplice them. That's my plan. I'm going to have to duplicate these tracks, I think. Turn musical mode off for that one, musical mode on for those, and then double time that second one. I feel like I can make some cuts out of these three. That right there, stop right there. That is the first cut. I'm going to spend a little while with this, I may come back to you. I'm going to tiny more on the front of that one as well. I'm going to keep those up here, muted, in case I need to chop and change or do another little session of this. tonal element. I don't think it needs tons more, you know. I mean, the more I listen to it, the cooler I think it is. I mean, there's other elements and I'm going to want to move into a mid-late, but for now, I'm going to put a pause in here. I mean, not probably for you watching the video, but my kind of time for the day's recording is running out. I've hit a nice groove, so it's annoying. I never like stopping, but needs must. Okay, well, I'll see you in a minute probably. So just been off camera for a little while and I found a couple of little bass parts that I think will work really nicely. And this track's really quite long. I've made it quite sort of expansive and just a little bit free flowing. This one falls more into the category of sitting in the background, not drawing too much attention to itself than almost all the others before. But I got to this late point and I'm thinking, yeah, if I am going to make the track really this long, I need some kind of bass to cut in. So what I got, initially I found this one. Nice live recording, loads of air you can hear over the top, but in this type of track I quite like that element. When I played it with the other sample, it felt like it was missing the low, one particular note that I really felt needed to be in there to complement the sample. So really nice, you know, they work really well together. But then I found this other one, which I've just cut out the notes I want in particular. So this is much more sort of electric, no real air or top on it, and it just follows these two notes. Right, that's it. But I thought on top of that, kind of complemented the other bass. And goes well with the sample too. But it's just got that root note that I really wanted to come through. So that, other than arrangement, I think is all I've done off camera. I now think I've arranged it in a way that I really like. It's about 6 minutes long, so it's quite a long track. But again, like I said, because it's kind of a groover, I don't really mind it being that long. I think I'm pretty happy with the arrangement. Final mix, bounce it down, and I'll stick it on the end of this video. But I reckon I'm happy with this. I don't think it needs any more kind of effects or little bits and bobs, but if while I'm doing the final mix I think, yeah, you know what, I could just do with a little touch here, I might chuck that in, but otherwise that's it, I'm done. Final mix on the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to buy me a house or coffee or a boat. I think it's as far as I'm up to now. I'll see you next time.
gotta have it, oh, she's so sweet like jasmine, I just gotta have it, oh. She's so sweet like jasmine, I just gotta have